Hey everybody, welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel. Guys, I want to talk about the infrastructure bill and of course the horrible crypto regulations they're trying to force into it. But we have a lot of people fighting the good fight. I want to give you the updates there. But the mastermind behind these horrible crypto regulations is Janet Yellen. And there's some very big and revealing news that came out today about her getting paid millions of dollars from banks, and it's pretty clear what's happening here. The reason why she's taking the stance she's taking is because she's a paid lapdog for the bankers. So I want to break that down. Also, there's an article that just came out, and it's calling out Gary Gensler, the SEC chair, that he's all bark but no bite. And that's why he's asking the president in the United States to provide him, the SEC, with more power to go after crypto. But he doesn't have the bullets yet. He has the gun, but he doesn't have the bullets. I want to talk about that. And of course, as it relates to Ripple XRP and the lawsuit there. So we're going to break it down, guys. Please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. It helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Guys, this video is brought to you by OKCoin Crypto Exchange, where you can buy, sell, and trade your favorite cryptos at low fees. You can also stake your crypto and keep 100% of your rewards. There are no fees. So sign up with OKCoin, link in the description. Also, be sure to sign up for my free weekly newsletter, link in the description as well. So here's a quick little infographic, and it really talks to or speaks to HODLing. It is very difficult to HODL. You got to have patience. You got to move without your emotions and look at facts and trends. And you'll see here what people think it's like to HODL, a straight line to the finish line, right? Or to the checkpoint. But what it's actually like, valleys, peaks. You got to go through the water here with waves. You got to go through the storms. It is not easy, but guys, there is certainly a reward at the end, and it's certainly worth waiting. So as I always say, be patient and HODL. So guys, check this out, this article. Janet Yellen accused of banking corruption. You don't say. I'm not surprised at all, guys. Remember who she is, right? Remember the guy who did the Bitcoin sign when she was giving a speech before Congress, right? And she was, of course, at the Fed, and she's saying, no, you don't need to audit the Fed. Now she's at the US Treasury. Look at that, right? These things just reek of corruption. Obviously, on this channel, we don't talk about politics and things as much because it's a crypto channel. But these people are coming after crypto, and we got to expose them. This is one of the ways that we put pressure on them. Get as much information out, have people start calling up their senators and so forth, and get the right things in place for us as the people. The government's supposed to represent the people. Let me give you the details. The US Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, has been accused of corruption due to receiving $7.2 million in speaking fees from just Citibank and the Citadel hedge fund. Here's a quote. Since much of America was locked down in 2020, those speeches are almost all Zoom calls done from her home. $7.2 million total. Bruce Fenton, a longtime Bitcoiner, says. Yellen's official limited disclosure reveals she received millions more from other banks like Barclays, BNP, UBS, and more. That indicates that her incentives are completely misaligned because her government salary, listen to this, is just $221,400 a year, while just Citi has paid her more than $7 million. You know, what have I talked about, guys, on this channel? Those of you who've been subscribed and you've heard my videos, I've talked about people from Goldman Sachs going to work with the government. These officials, government officials, are in bed with these folks. And of course, campaign donations, speaking fees, incentives, right? They are paid and bought. And that's why I said at the beginning of the video, Janet Yellen is a lapdog for the banksters. And as I discussed in a couple of videos ago, you may say, but Tony, hey, didn't JP Morgan just launch their crypto trading? Didn't Citibank say they're going to offer crypto? Well, a couple of things. Remember, if you were here in 2018 and even 2017, they tried to stop people from buying crypto. Jamie Dimon himself came out and said, I'm going to fire any trader that touches that stuff. It's a scam. It's a fraud. but they can't stop the disruptive, innovative technology. And on the other side, their clients are asking for it. And remember, at the end of the day, they're looking to make revenue and a profit, right? So if they say, hey, no, we're not going to touch this stuff, we don't like this stuff, that client can go to somewhere where they can get it. So they lose their respective money. So that's why they are playing both sides. But trust me when I tell you, they would love to kill crypto because crypto brings decentralization. It gives back power to the common man, the little guy, right? And that is what's happening. So it's nuance. And they would love to pay Janet Yellen. And we saw this with Steve Mnuchin, right? When under the previous administration, he was trying to do stuff like this too. Why? The Treasury. Remember what the Treasury does, right? And remember how connected they are to the Federal Reserve. If DeFi takes away the lending and borrowing from these banks, then the Treasury and the Federal Reserve, they can't prop up these banks like JP Morgan and so forth anymore. And I know I'm getting into details outside of crypto, but I want to give you that context so you understand what's happening or why they're fighting this so hard. And clearly, Janet Yellen is a political hack that has paid off. And look, unfortunately, a lot of politicians are as well. And I understand politicians need to get campaign donations. That's the system. But many of them are pretty corrupted, right? Now, there are good politicians. There are great politicians out there. Unfortunately, I think this system of political bribery, look, that's what it is, right? It's bribery, exists. And I hope maybe crypto can bring some decentralization to that politicians in the future can raise money via crypto, via the blockchain, and versus having to go to these big banks. So let me continue here. Moreover, while this sum might look like a small amount for an open bribe, Yellen's wealth is estimated to be $20 million. So she has been given in 1 year almost half her net worth by just one bank. Now, guys, who the hell pays somebody $7 million for a speech, especially on a Zoom call? Not even a seminar, like she's there for a month or like a week or so and doing activities just for a speech. You know that is a bribe. Come on, right? Anybody with half a brain, you would see what the hell is happening here. So she is now serving her real employers, the banks, and not the United States government, as Ron Hammond, Director of Government Relations at the Blockchain Association, says. Here's a quote: "The public pressure is working as more senators express concerns to us privately about the bill the bill text. Treasury is pulling out all the stops to kill the Wyden amendment. General politics of the bill could force Senator Schumer to say no amendments at all. For that $7 million, Yellen is now moving to effectively ban a competitor of their Citi Pay Masters, the DeFi space, with a section sneaked into the infrastructure bill at the last minute that holds smart contract coders responsible as brokers." So we talked about this sneaky, slimy move, right? This wasn't a crypto specific bill. This is the infrastructure bill, but they snuck it in there. It's just shady. I mean, look what they did, right? And I'm glad that we're getting, look, I even saw Ted Cruz, who, I don't agree with Ted Cruz in a lot of ways, but it's funny. It's 2021, and I'm agreeing with Ted Cruz, where he called out Yellen and this bill, right? This is just nonsense. But I like the good fight that's here, and pretty clear what's happening. Janet Yellen, like I said, guys, the lapdog of the bankers, mass corruption here. Attorney John Deaton, who I've interviewed a couple times on my channel, he shares similar sentiments. For that $7 million, Yellen is now, okay, I'm sorry, he just quoted what was in the bill, but he said $7 million to speak to banks, right? Same thing I brought up, guys. Like, really? $7 million to give a speech on Zoom? I don't want to use vulgar language on here, but like I've said before, if we were having a beer, in my house or in backyard, you would hear how I, feel with vulgar language. Caitlin Long, who I've interviewed as well a couple of times, and she's a great leader in the crypto market, responded to Jake Tversky's tweet saying, Bad outcome. Time for yet another round of calls to your senators. Senate should slow down the whole infrastructure bill if crypto taxes are truly the only pay for that enables it all. Passing the original bill means pushing a big and fast growing industry overseas. Bad outcome. Jake Chervinsky essentially said discussions, a compromise amendment are ongoing. The broader politics and process around the passing the bill are starting to predominate, though. It's possible no amendments will be proposed at all, which means we'll be stuck with the current language. Gosh, I hope that doesn't happen, guys. This would be really bad. You're going to see a lot of crypto businesses go overseas. My gut is telling me that even if this thing is passed, that there will be a correction of it. I don't think the U.S. and the people who are, leading, I don't think they're that dumb, but it could be like we talked about Janet Yellen. It's just corruption, right? Janet Yellen's like, okay, whoever pays me the most money, I'll do what you want. Woof, woof, right? Lapdog. It's really frustrating. It's confusing at the same time, but we have a lot of great people like Senator Cynthia Lummis and many others that are fighting. So she tweeted, the Senate has the opportunity to set the stage for successful implementation of digital assets into our financial system, but we have to get it right here. And we have a perfect opportunity. Let's get her done. She also talked about the following. We should ensure that people aren't trying to avoid taxes by sheltering their money in digital assets, but we can do that without stifling innovation and choosing winners and losers. Absolutely. Logic, common sense. But like I said, woof, woof, Janet Yellen, that doesn't matter to her. Just who's giving her the most money. And obviously these big banks, guys. So frustrating. Andrew Yang, many of you know him. He said, if the Senate gets this cryptocurrency provision wrong, it will drive innovation and investment overseas away from the US. Who wants that? At least take the time to get it right. Jack Dorsey, Square and Twitter CEO, said the following. He tagged, I should say, all the respective parties involved, like Ron Wyden, Senator Loomis, Senator Toomey, Mark Warner, Senator Rob Portman, Senator Sinema, and Ted Cruz. Said respective staff and everyone who's worked on the infrastructure bill crypto tax reporting provision. Thank you for your work to get this right. May we offer a workable simplification. Forcing reporting rules on Americans who develop software and hardware, who mine and secure the network, or who run nodes to build resilience and efficiencies is an impossible ask that will only drive development and operation of this critical technology outside the US. He said, if we can't strike the entire provision so we can have proper hearings and deliberation, then let's simplify the definition of a broker to what really matters, where digital assets are exchanged for fiat currency. Broker equals fiat to crypto exchange. If you feel this doesn't go far enough, I'd argue this at least gets you to 90% of the goal. For the remaining 10% of edge cases, let's make a proper, well-informed law through committee hearings with witnesses on both sides of the debate. Thank you for your work thus far, and thank you for for the consideration. So we certainly need more of the big players in the market to speak out. I think a lot of crypto companies have to step up and start lobbying. We gotta take the gloves off, right? And I hope more of them wake up and see what's happening here, because, like I said, woof woof, this lapdog will go to the highest bidder. Jeremy Allaire, similar sentiments about this situation. He's obviously the founder of Circle. Unbeknownst to most policymakers, crypto is building the foundation for our global economy for the next 100 years. That is critical infrastructure. So frustrating, guys. I apologize if I'm sighing and whatever. This is so frustrating. But I do think there's light at the end of the tunnel. Now, check this article out. Surprised to see stuff like this, but the SEC is getting called out along with Janet Yellen. SEC boss Gary Gensler has few regulatory bullets on crypto, says lawyer. Very interesting take here. Gary Gensler's ambition to regulate the Wild West of cryptocurrency is on a collision course with something he can't regulate: more than 7 decades of case law. That, let's see here, that was the consensus among securities lawyers with whom I spoke following Gensler's pronouncement last week that high on his ambitious agenda as chair of the SEC is to make the booming cryptocurrency market safe for even your grandmother. Of course, we all want to make the world a better place. And with something as new as crypto, there has to be a lot of funny stuff going on. However, even the most well-intentioned utopian goals of the left, whether it's our beleaguered Governor Cuomo imposing strict COVID lockdowns on religious activities, or Gensler's idealized version of capitalism, always answer to a higher authority. I want to make sure I skip through some of the political jargon here to get you to the takeaway. So Gensler was a longtime Wall Street executive and partner at Goldman Sachs. Remember the video I showed you guys of Tim Draper talking to him, and it was a couple of videos ago, and Gensler squirming because Tim Draper was exposing him and the banks. And it says here, and he worked in government, including as the chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. In other words, Gensler has real-world knowledge of the markets. He's also not a lawyer. And while it has become fashionable to denigrate lawyers, Gensler holds a job that demands knowledge of court precedent and the law to prevent unfair prosecutions and wild goose chases. And, he continues here talking about the overreach that Gensler wants to do. And we saw, obviously, people from the CFTC, a commissioner from the CFTC, as well as former CFTC chair Christian Carlo, call out Gensler because Gensler is asking for more power. We don't want that. We need balance of power. And I do believe there are a lot of bills out there like the Token Taxonomy Act and a few others that will shift some of that power from the SEC over to the CFTC to keep some balance there. Look, the US is falling behind. The rest of the world views, like XRP and some of these cryptos as virtual currency, not as securities. And Gensler is certainly wrong here. Now, I've said it in my video when we talked about his respective speech, his Bloomberg interview, that some of the statements he made and in the fashion he did was to help correct and save face for the SEC because they are not positioned well in the Ripple lawsuit, especially when Commissioners Hester Peirce and Elad Roisman came out and made statements that there's not clarity, right? It put them in a bad place. Even the way William Hinman came out and said Ethereum is not a security back in 2018, they put the speech on the website. Yet they're saying, oh, no, don't listen to Hinman. And then they secretly had him sign a document a couple of weeks ago in the court saying, oh, yeah, I wasn't really speaking, on behalf of the SEC. Sure, buddy. That's why Jay Clayton backed you up after you said that. It just reeks of corruption. We know Hinman went to work for an investment firm after he left the SEC that invests in, guess what? Ethereum. Jay Clayton went to a firm that invested in Bitcoin, and guess what they did? He didn't approve a Bitcoin ETF in his tenure, but as soon as he joined that firm, what did they do? File for a Bitcoin ETF. You can't make this stuff up, guys. It's really bad. I'm hoping Congress steps in. At this point, guys, Congress has to step in. So let me give you some more details. As SEC chair, can't Gensler just deem digital securities a security and let the games begin? The SEC under Jay Clayton did just that when it brought a case against a company called Ripple Labs for issuing digital currency that Commission claimed were unregistered securities. No, the securities lawyer said, there are 75 years of case law to prevent that. Checks and balances. Good point. The Ripple case is hardly a slam dunk, and the courts will still weighing whether the SEC overstepped its jurisdiction in filing the lawsuit in the area of commerce, possibly better regulated by Gensler's old shop, the CFTC. Smart and sleazy financial types have and will cobble together fraudulent crypto derivatives to create an investment product that could fall within the SEC's purview. So I'm sure Gensler will find some way to bring cases. Man, Congress has to step in here because Gensler is looking to overreach. It looks like he just wants to be Jay Clayton 2.0. And we know his connections and background to Goldman Sachs. And just like Janet Yellen, I think he's a lapdog for the bankers. And that's the best way I can put it. I hope you guys understand that. And man, it's frustrating. Let's see what happens. There's still more dialogue. I do think we're going to come out at the right end. It may not be short term. It may be long term, because my gut tells me I don't think the U.S. will watch the world pass them by. And I think there are a lot of people who are waking up to what's happening here and the potential for this technology. So guys, what do you think about this? Are you frustrated as I am? I'm sure you probably are. And I'm hoping for the best here. I'm hoping they get it right. They remove this ridiculous stuff, or they put an amendment in that is sufficient. And if it does get passed, right, the original bill, hopefully in the coming months, or gosh, this year, that they are able to remove it or fix it or whatever, roll it back. I don't know, but let's see what happens. Fingers crossed, and we can hope for the best here. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.